All right, so we've heard from Ronalda about her and Rowena, and now it's over to Linda to tell us about the treasurer, which is his wife, right?
The treasurer, she grew up in St. Catherine as a Rastafarian, raised by her father. He's a great man who actually raised his daughters.
Oh,
A
wonderful.
rare thing.
Yeah.
She then went on to Edna Manley to study being a goldsmith.
Goldsmith. Okay.
Goldsmith,
What's a
so,
goldsmith?
She does fine jewelry
Oh, in Jamaica?
in Jamaica.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yes.
Oh.
And do I have samples? This is one.
That's a sample.
This is
Oh my
wedding ring.
gosh. Oh, that's so cute. Nice.
So, yeah, and she's a mother of an amazing young man because of her. She raised him basically alone for the first 9 years,
Yeah. And then you got married.
and then we got married.
So you inherited a son.
I inherited a great family.
Yeah.
As well, she's got great vision on many things. We have, like was mentioned, Camp Vitali.
Yeah, I was
One of
gonna
our
ask
companies.
about Camp Vitali.
Camp Vitali, we teach STEAM. If you know what STEAM is, so we
That's
teach
science, technology,
engineering, art,
Art.
and math.
and math. Okay.
So we also have karate at home or at our place, and chess. We do art and sip for children and adults.
Okay.
So yeah, she's awesome. Her ideas are.
Yeah. And where do you see CHEA going? I know you spoke about aligning with the other Caribbean countries and so on, but what is your vision for CHEA in 2023 and beyond?
Have you ever heard of a thing called HSLDA? Which is, it is an American company
Okay.
for homeschoolers.
Ah, okay.
And what they do is they have all this stuff for the different states and the laws. They help people if there's a problem with the law,
Okay.
that they're there for them. If there's
So they're like
curricula,
advocacy.
they are. Yeah, they're very good. And if there's a curricula they need, they have that curricula. Well, they've kind of helped out in the Caribbean, in
Yeah.
one country, but we need somebody who actually is here for the Caribbean.
Okay.
So that's what she is supposed to become, well, is going to become.
Yeah.
My vision, I have a preschooler. So for me, I would love to see platforms and relationships developed within the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So we could have like, a homeschooling exchange program, curriculums being developed, workshops being created,
Yes.
a parent think tank, like
Yeah.
whatever works for your child and such, maybe we can incorporate it here. I'd love to see like a culture bank also because, the Caribbean is filled with our
Yeah.
different
Lots of
culture.
different cultures. Yeah.
Right, so it would be lovely for the children to have that type of experience from, without even leaving their homes.
Their homes.
So I'm looking forward to lots of relationships being created, lots of platforms for children and parents, because as homeschooling parents, we do need that support. If you thought parenting was hard, add homeschooling to that. I'd love to see a Caribbean community,
Yes.
support community coming up with that, because my issues may not be somebody else's
Yes,
issues.
definitely.
And I may have solutions or maybe have surmount some challenge that could help in a different
Others,
Caribbean country,
yeah.
right? So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to for CHEA and beyond. For 2023, we are looking towards putting out our workshops, simple,
Wonderful.
easy,
Yes.
homeschooling 101, and
Yes.
even just a workshop on talking about what does the JTC bill means for us as homeschooling parents, because
And getting that information
getting
out.
the information out, right? Because the media has a tendency to put things in a very fearful way, and what you find is that what I found was that parents were reacting fearful,
Yeah.
aggressive, and I'm not saying some of that isn't warranted. However, if you understood carefully
Yeah.
what it was about, then your reaction would be more proactive. So just even explaining, having a workshop explaining what the JTC bill, what it means for us, and what it means for us is that we shouldn't be a part of it in the first place because it's a JTC bill.
Yeah.
We're not teachers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're parents.
Yeah.
And to also share what bad parenting means versus homeschooling, because that was also one of the points that was being brought up about, you know, children being abused at homes, but that's bad parenting. That
Yes.
you can't just
Can they
ascribe that.
also be abused in the school?
Right,
Yes.
they are being abused
They are.
in the schools. Have you seen them on
Yes, we have.
videos? Right. So not to get there, but you know, just
Yes.
open educating workshops like that. You know, we start simple and then build bigger and better.
What does being a homeschool parent entail? Because I know that you mentioned that you have your own business. Rowena also acts in her husband's business. Lindel and his wife, they have Camp Vitali. So is it that if a parent wants to become a homeschool parent, they have to have their own? Are they required to be at home all the time? How does it work?
Homeschooling is different for everybody. That's the first thing. There's no one box that suits anything. It just so happened that we had our business before we became homeschooling parents. So you find that time management became key.
Okay.
So for me, I incorporate my teaching of my child with my business. So I deal with food, plants. My culture is a part of it. So you have cultural days where we'll go out and we'll talk about it and we'll explain, and we'll get up in the morning and we do our culture and traditions. The teacher, she learned maths, English just by being in the garden. Learning about the plants, the reading aspect of things is everyday conversations that we will have. And I find that with a homeschooling parent versus a teacher, just putting it in that context, where a teacher is designed to go by a structured curriculum, whether or not the child gets each point of that curriculum, it is not. It's not a requirement.
So they age out.
So they
Once
age
they reach
out.
the age, yeah.
For me as a homeschooling parent, if my child don't get what letter A sounds like, we're not moving past it until she gets what letter A sounds like. So I will spend 5 weeks going over the alphabet.
Because it's your child.
It's my
So
child. I'm invested in
You're
her
not being
education.
paid to teach her.
Thank you.
That's
We're
different.
not being paid. We can't. The only thing that we're paid with is she said the you know, just the fact
they're
that
getting it.
they're getting it, and that's the only payment that you get. So to each parent, depending on their learning style and their communication style with their child, that's how home education works. So it's not the same box that fits for everybody.
And how has it been for you, Lindel?
It's an interesting ride. We don't wake up in the morning and start school.
Oh. So he doesn't have to get ready and catch the bus and pack the...
We don't do that. He gets up and part of his schooling is he has responsibilities. He takes care of, we have a small farm. He takes care of things on the farm. He learns about it. One of the other businesses we do is we have bees. So we do honey. He learns about the bees. He understands what they are. So this is part of life.
Yeah.
Math is not, like I was saying earlier, it's
Just
not a
textbook.
traditional sit down. We don't have a classroom that we just sit down in front of a class and here's a whiteboard, let me write some numbers, remember those numbers. No, we make it real, we make it so that he understands it, because not everybody understands everything the same way.
Yeah.
Some people have to read it, some people have to hear it, some people have to do it.
Yeah.
He learns things in art, so we try to figure out how can I incorporate. So this is where the studying as a parent comes in. You have to study how to do it, how I can make it work this way so he understands it instead of that way. And like I said, art for my child versus your child probably understands things in a whole different way, not in art.
Yeah.
So, but it's been great. It's really rewarding to watch him.
Well, to be doing CSEC at age 13. It must be that he's learning and advancing further than some children. But I do like the concept because some of the main principles I'm hearing from you is, as the parent, you're so invested in the child that you don't move on until the child gets it. So yes, you're guided by the curriculum, the national school curriculum, but you find that engaging with the child, even allowing the child to do work in the garden, work in the farm, is like you are producing men and women, and not just children who go to high school and they go to college, but they're able to have conversations with people and so on. So I like that concept. What I'm thinking though is, what would be some of the things in order to get parents on board, considering that there may be limitations in terms of the amount of time, if the parent has to go out and work and come back in. What are some of the things that you could impart to these parents to kind of get them interested in homeschool parenting? And I'm thinking that one of the things that you could do is, including in those workshop businesses, how to start your own business, to get them to be able to.
We actually
do that.
did that with our son. I taught him how to do Forex.
Oh wow!
So he had his own little account. He did great trading.
Wow.
He understood it. So,
At age 13.
he was 11 at the time. And, yeah, but he understood how to do trading on the market.
So it's basic, not even basic, but advanced life skills. You're preparing them for life.
Another thing I had him do was I told him, I said, okay, you make this much money, you have a career, this is your career, you make this much money. You own a house, and you have this and this and this. I said, now, make your budget. Set your budget.
Yeah.
And then I said, now you have all that,
Yes.
but now you have a child and a wife, so now you have to redo your budget.
Yes. Yes.
I gave him 4 different scenarios where he owned a home, he rented a home, he had a wife and child. So, but what can we do to make people come to homeschooling? Well, first off, homeschooling is not for every person.
Yeah.
It is not. So you have to figure out, how can I work my life around my family?
Yeah.
Because family has to become priority. Once you figure out how you can do that, if you really, really want to homeschool, because the advantages of it, even if you have a special needs child who is slower, it's great because now you get to dedicate the time to them, and they learn a lot more. Because in the public school, they just kind of get
lost in the system.
and they don't learn what they really should.
Yeah.
Because they may be slower, but they're not stupid.
Trust me.
They're not.
That's great. Over your journey, though, what are some of the lessons that you have learned along the way that further equipped you and that you think can help somebody else?
Better communication. When I don't know if you've ever heard somebody say this, but I've usually said it to people who come with, let's call it big, highfalutin words. And I said, dumb it down for me like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because you have to be very clear with what you say, how you say it, for the child to receive it. So, as a homeschooling parent, you automatically know when the message isn't being received.
Yeah.
So then you have to go back to the drawing board and revamp how you say it. Do I need to add manipulatives to it? Do I need to try something else? What happens if I go in the car? Use a car, for example, to say, all right, if you have 5 gallons, how much more gallon you need to do such and such? I'm watching up the car situation. But life is about, the homeschooling life is about communicating and ensuring that your child receives a lesson that you are sharing. And a lot of that is lost in the schools. Because the child at the back may not hear clearly, 1, 2, may not understand what the teacher at the front of the class of 40 children is saying. you have all of this noise buzzing going around, so there's a lot of distraction.
Yeah.
Is your environment distracting from what you want to bring across?
Yeah.
It has made me a better communicator.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yes.
it must have helped you as well. Yeah.
Yes, because then now I'm very aware of, did the person receive the message that I intended for them to receive. Another thing, it makes me a better person in terms of looking at how the person is responding to you. If the person is in say they're having a bad day and you're coming with a heavy message, it's not going to be received.
Yes.
Right. So, I'm more keen at looking at how an adult is responding. I'm like, okay, they're throwing a tantrum. Maybe now is not the good
time.
a good time to do such and such. A better educator too.
Yeah.
Because in the amount of research that you have to do to ensure, if we want to teach 1 plus 1, it is not as simple as going up on the board and teaching 1 plus 1. We have to now look at what does 1 represent, what does the plus represent, what does the next 1 represent when you add it to the other one, and what does the equal sign. So it's like you break down everything. So you find that homeschooling parents normally doing a lot of research to the T, to understand it from the seed, from the thought process to the end product. So you are able again to communicate it to your child.
And on the business side, have you learned any in terms of like managing, being CHEA, and that management aspect? Were there any challenges that you faced in and the hurdles that you had to jump over?
That's a good one. We are currently
nothing. It's perfect.
In all honesty, we are all taking our time to get there because it's a new step, it's a bold step, it's a challenging step. Because one, we are not politicians, we were not equipped for this, but as a parent, you have to armor up, suit up to do what you need to get done to protect your future. So that is the process, that's the step where we're at now. We're all at that suiting up. This armor don't fit too heavy, alright, let me change it out. But if I'm changing it out, the material still has to have the same durability as the heavy one.
I like that. And you, Lindel?
I like the way you put that. When it comes to the kids and you're being a homeschool educator, because first off, we're not homeschool, we're home educating, we're not a school.
You're a parent.
We're not a school, we're a parent. We're educating our children, and we do that from the time they're in the womb, we educate our children. So the one thing we need to realize as parents, I've gone to school for 3 different things: engineering, law, and theology. I don't know a lot. I don't know much at all. I've been in and out of 57 countries. I've learned more there. We have to remain humble and go, oh, I don't know that. Hang on. Let me go learn it, and I'll come back and I'll teach you. The same thing with CHEA. When I first got this group together of these people, I was like, oh boy, what did I step into? What am I doing here? Okay, this is what we have to find. Let's find this information. And here, everybody go find it. I wish I would have had more knowledge of what it was I was truly looking for.
But you discover that in the process.
Right, we finally found out, man, there's so much way. It's not a book that we're looking at, it's an entire library. And I've only got to read a couple books so far.
But I mean, I like what you guys are doing for me. It has been very eye-opening. I don't know much about homeschooling. I just know that parents, keep their children at home and maybe they don't want them to be a part of the formal system, etc. But, in terms of exposing them to, like you said, culture and, having conversations that equip them to function in life, I like that aspect. And, as you said, Ronalda, that in 2023 you want to get the message out there, more social media platforms, and to also form, more alliance with the Caribbean. And I just wish you guys all the success. Are there any parting words that you'd say to someone who probably just wants to do something? Like you said, it's a bold step, but you took it anyway. Linda said, well, he wished he knew what he wanted, before he started. But what about someone who wants to start something and they don't know what they want? They're not bold. Contact
us. We'll help where we can.
Okay.
We have great, intelligent ladies that know this stuff. But when you said you don't know much about homeschooling, well, earlier I said we're home educators.
Home educators, yeah.
The term homeschooling has been around for years and years and years. Well, we don't school.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's not a school instead of a home.
It's not a school, right? Because there is schooling at home.
Yeah.
That is different than from what we do.
Yeah.
And what we do is what is called homeschooling, but home educating, we're educating our children.
For me, I would say, there are different avenues that a parent can take, whether it's home educating, whether it's school from home, or online learning, because there's so many different platforms. You have to find the best fit for you, because homeschooling takes a lot of time for you to dedicate to it. And I'm not talking about like 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day. I'm talking about really learning your child or children and understanding them to a level where you can now definitively say, okay, my child has a visual learning or tactile or kinetic, right? So, it takes a lot of time and dedication. So there's nothing wrong with home educating, there's nothing wrong with learning from home, there's nothing wrong with online. You just need to find the path that's best for you, right?
For your family.
And you asked a question before.
What would you say to someone who wants to start something?
Right, find out what is right for you. Look at your time, the time that you have to allocate to
that thing.
We go in there with this, I did.
Yes,
I started
blinders on. Looking at the end first.
I'm like, listen, my child was born in 2018. I was like, all right, I'm going to homeschool. And then when I realized the amount of research I had to do to learn, I was like, no, I'm send her to school. But then COVID said, calm down. You said what you said. We don't do this. So you find out that even a lot of parents chose to continue to homeschool their child at home and even learn from home, because why? They found out that the child operates a lot better in an environment that they're comfortable with. A lot of children went back to school after COVID, and there has been a rise in violence. Also, there's another thing that I want to stick out for home educating or even just online learning or learning from home. Our literacy rate is 100%. Right now in the school system, in America, and in Jamaica, they're having challenges with literacy rates. You don't find that problem in homeschooling, because even if we know a parent now on our group whose child finally learned how to read at 13.
Oh my.
And that you can't get him to stop now. Right? Or was it 10 or 13? Nadia.
The age.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I can't remember.
Very dedicated. She left her job.
And he's a great little historian as well.
Yes, can't get
he
him to
does
stop
videos
now.
that's amazing.
Very
I love this stuff.
amazing, and I'm telling you, you only find that level of dedication in a parent. In the school system, like you said, once they age out, that's it. So you find high school students, children leaving high school and cannot read.
But they've aged out, so
they've
moved on.
So you find out what is best for you as a parent, what is best for your child also. Because if you find that your child does really good in school, and the child is comfortable, there's no issues, no problems, then you allow it to stay, because both of you are comfortable. But if you find that there is a challenge for you and your child, then it's best to even just talk to somebody. There are different groups that you can talk to find out what is it about and what is best for you.
And another big misconception about home education is our children are withdrawn and have no social abilities. I don't know one home educated child that is not social. They don't know strangers. They go out and talk.
Because
And
you have
they-
conversation.
Right.
And when they talk, they seem to get bored talking to children their age.
Yes.
They want to talk to somebody on their level.
Yeah, the intelligence is
Yeah.
up there because the type of conversation they will hear me on the phone having the different type of conversations.
Oh,
With-
I
with
forget
my
that
child.
her daughter is 4 years old. I completely forget.
Yeah, and I mean it's different because you're talking to her.
Yes.
The conversation is different. I've once read something that said if a child can pronounce Tyrannosaurus Rex, they can pronounce anything.
Everything. Yeah.
So do not hold back. You know, and home education allows your child imagination to grow bigger than ever. It allows their capacity for learning to be bigger than ever, their capacity for understanding. You mentioned advanced learning. It isn't advanced, it's life. In indigenous communities, that is how the children are raised, not in separate by themselves.
Yeah.
So you only do children stuff. They're raised within the community. So you'll find that a child is fixing a car.
I love the way you said that. It goes back to a very, very old adage. It takes a community.
Yeah. It takes a village. Yeah.
Yeah. So home education, home educated children, I don't believe they're gifted. I believe they're children who has had the opportunity to be themselves.
Attention, yeah.
Yes.
If someone wants to get in touch with CHEA to hear more, to learn more, what do you have contact numbers, email addresses that you'd like to leave us?
Email address. Is it?
CHEA.Jamaica? Or the telephone number. They can contact us through social media, which is CHEA Jamaica, on the social media, every social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook is CHEA Jamaica.
Okay.
Right, and once they get in contact there, then we just take it and go with it. And like I said, we have projects that will be coming up in the future that if persons want to be a part of it, you come, you make your mark, and then you just go.
Yes. So CHEA.Jamaica at Gmail.
Jamaica at Gmail, and then you have Instagram,
TikTok, Twitter, Facebook,
and
yes.
it's CHEA Jamaica, CHEA Jamaica.
Yes.
On those platforms.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you again.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ronalda Pairman, I don't remember the
The
title.
title is CHEA. Thank you.
CHEA, and she's the public relations person for CHEA Jamaica, and Mr. Lindel Vitali, who is the president. And remember, if you want to find out more about CHEA, you want to learn how you can help your child to improve and to become a home educator, then you could reach out to CHEA Jamaica. It's CHEA.Jamaica@gmail.com, and the telephone numbers.
879-5572.
So that's 876-879-5572. All right, thank you again, listeners and viewers, and join us for another episode of Beyond the Scenes sometimes.